310864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday.
They're really good people, and the chemistry's great, very coachable. They work hard.
Jelstad left wing three. Yes, sir! What a catch and a finish, plus the foul.
The guys are playing hard, and guys found a way, so it's a big part of any season, just finding a way.
Pass underneath to Cousinard, he's fouled and one. Gray wants another three, are you kidding?
So let's go have some fun. Let's play loose and see what happens.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Let's talk Oregon Duck basketball. From the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. The Oregon women's basketball team at home coming up, stomping out cancer Friday night. The Ducks with their pink game against USC. And then at home again against UCLA at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Meanwhile, for Oregon men's basketball, a little extra practice time coming off what was, a tough one to stomach against Washington State. Ducks have had a short rotation trying to figure out the minute substitution patterns, and we're going to talk with Coach Altman about all that here coming up. Women's basketball head coach Kelly Graves will be with us, and for the Oregon men, 7 o'clock in Corvallis on Saturday, and truthfully, backs are against the wall a little bit. We're going to see, I think, what this team's made of here moving forward. Our student-athlete guests, though, you're really going to enjoy Chris Clayton's conversation with Phillipina Kyei, someone who's still getting used to the game of basketball. And Chris talks to her about that, a whole lot more coming up. And then because Oregon men are playing in Corvallis, I thought, well, there's a couple Oregonians on the roster. I went with Gabe Reichle. His brother played at Oregon State. His younger brother currently plays, not basketball, a different sport at Oregon State. What's that Thanksgiving dinner like? A true platypus household for Gabe Reichle. Talking with the Oregon walk-on who's meant a lot to this program. That's Tip-Off Tuesday presented by Toyota today. And if you're with us every week, you know the drill. We've got so many interviews, we get to them in a hurry. Dana Altman, Kelly Graves, Gabe Reichle, Phillipina Kyei on Tip-Off Tuesday this week. Women are at home. Men still in the state of Oregon. Rivalry game coming up on Saturday. Talking with Coach Altman, reviewing the weekend, and getting ready for the Beavs next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has taken its flavor to the next level. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Joey Mack, joined by Oregon men's basketball head coach Dane Altman here in the Country Financial Studio. Coach, just where things are at heading into a week with some extra practices. Review the weekend in general for us, some of your takeaways.
Well, we obviously disappointed from Saturday's performance. In a low possession game like that, you got to hit your free throws. We didn't do that. Messed up a couple times defensively, gave up some easy baskets, and then offensively didn't hit many shots. So wasn't a good combination. Washington State played the way they had to play to win the game, and we didn't play, the way we needed to. And, part of that, we've got to make some adjustments in minutes. Got Dante out there for 35, 36 minutes, Jermaine, Jackson. When you play Thursday, Saturday, we've struggled in that Saturday game with some energy now with our depth not being what it was. So we've got to make some adjustments in the way we play and try to get those guys a few more blows so that we can finish games a little stronger.
Coach, it sounds so easy to say, adjust the minutes, but that's difficult to find the rotation, when to make the subs in game, isn't it?
Well, for us at this point in the season, it shouldn't be this difficult. But, with guys in and out of the lineup, and guys struggling at times, you just – It's not an exact science. And, when you have the same starting five and the same guys coming off the bench, it does make it a lot easier on the coaching staff and the players.
Sure.
They know exactly when they're going in. But, with our ups and downs in our lineup, we've struggled to get that rotation, and you shouldn't be saying that in February.
I feel like, too, though, Coach, the team now has to kind of embrace a backs-against-the-wall mentality. You mentioned it on the post-game show. That could, I imagine, be an energizer for a team here moving forward.
Well, right now we've got these 8 guys, and then Gabe and Coop, I could put in. So we got those 10 guys ready to go. It's kind of what we've got the rest of the season. We kind of know that. As a coaching staff, we got to make adjustments now. We kept anticipating Nate was going to be back, and I'm not sure he's going to. Mm-hmm. So, and then with Keyshawn, out, we've got to do a better job of delegating and distributing those minutes, keeping our guys fresh so we can finish games a little stronger.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Gabe Reichle to start, Coach. He's going to be our player guest on the show, and just what he's meant to the program over the time as a walk-on, doing a lot of things that people don't necessarily see out there on the floor.
Gabe's been unbelievable. He's been a valued team member. Knows the scouting report as well as anybody, performs the other team's stuff to get us ready. No, he's done a great job.
If you could take fans into that, Coach, I have a lot of fans ask me about the scout team and how a guy like Gabe goes about doing that. They're kind of learning 2 playbooks all the time, aren't they?
Absolutely. Gabe's a graduate in accounting. He's a bright guy. He's got our playbook down, and he gets theirs every game. Yeah. He's on the scout team and does a tremendous job trying to get our guys ready, and then he knows their stuff inside and out, so he's always talking to the guys. Like I said, he and James Cooper have been unbelievable. Yeah. And 2 guys that been with us now. Gabe's 4-year guy, and Coop's on his 3rd year, and those guys have done a great job.
Yeah, how about James Cooper, Coach? I mean, it seems like just an ultimate team guy at times.
They both are. I mean, any walk-on does it for the love of the game. And being an old walk-on myself, I got a little soft spot for those guys. But these guys have earned all the respect that their teammates give them. They're at practice every day. I don't think Gabe's missed, 2 practices in 4 years. He's there. And same way with Coop. And they play through injuries just like everybody else. And they've done a tremendous job.
Coach, on that same point, critical part of the scouting are your GAs, and I haven't had a chance to ask you about your GAs. Some former Ducks that have come back and made a big impact on your program.
Yeah, Jason Calise, Olu Ashley are back. Corey's back for his second year. So, no, I love having those old guys around. We talked to the team yesterday. They were really down about, where we're at, and I reminded them in Jason's year. Jason was a grad transfer here for 1 year. We were 3-8 in the conference and won 7 in a row to go 10-8 and get in the tournament and win a game over BYU and then lose to Wisconsin in Milwaukee. And the year they went to the Final Four. So, I kept telling our guys, we're down, but we're not out. And you guys, this is a great example of a team that just pulled himself off the mat and played.
I've asked you some of that before, Coach. Like, you've had teams, it's been well documented that later in the year, at Oregon in particular, the teams start to kind of figure it out. The common trait you've told me before is competitiveness, and I don't know, what have been some of the keys over the years? Maybe use Jason's year as an example that the team's pulled himself up off the mat like that.
Well, we had great leadership. Johnny Lloyd was in his senior year and didn't want to finish that way. So, we've had older guys in leadership and to that regard, and Fali Dante's done an unbelievable job. Jermaine's trying to help him. Been a little disappointed in the way some of the guys have fouled him, but I got no complaints. Dante's competitiveness. You saw him diving on the floor for loose balls. I mean, he and Jermaine are giving us everything we got. We just got to bring some of the other guys along. Keyshawn going down kind of hurt our guard rotation there. He and Jackson playing together, I thought we're really giving Jackson some better looks. Keyshawn could penetrate and get, we got to get Jackson some looks. He's a really good shooter, but off the dribble, they're hard to get all the time. And, he and Key playing together, those minutes were really starting to come together, and those two playing together. Now we got to get Jermaine and Brennan, penetrating a little bit more and making some shots for some more guys.
Where have you seen Jackson grow, Coach? I mean, we've seen multiple 20-point performances. He's hit some big shots for you. Certainly has all the potential in the world, there's no doubt.
No doubt. He's the scouting reports have tilted toward him.
Yeah.
He comes in and they're not quite aware how good a shooter he is, but anytime you got a 40% three-point shooter, then people start really pushing out on you.
Sure.
Older guards have affected him a little bit, guys that are 23 years old and bigger, and stronger.
Yeah.
That has affected him a little bit, which it would any freshman. I tell him that. I said, Bud, you're not the first freshman to go through this. It's and like I said, we're playing in 35 minutes now, which really makes it tough on him. So we got to give him a few more blows. We got to move those minutes around a little bit. Brennan and Carrio got to come in and give us a little bit more ball handling there. So, again, I really like the way Jackson's come on. He's a competitor. He'll be fine. He's just going to go through some growing pains that all freshmen go through.
Yeah. Sticking on the freshman, what have you seen from KJ Evans, Coach, just over the course of the year? Where can he grow for you?
Well, he's got to get stronger. You can see when, again, playing against 23-year-olds, the guy who's matched up with, against Washington State's grad transfer, so, he's playing against a 23-year-old and he got beat up a little bit, so the physicality, the strength for 18, 19-year-old, that's just got to come along. But, his instincts are really good, but he's got to play lower, he's got to play with more power, and that'll come, just with strength and maturity, but his instincts are good, his skill level's good. He just needs strength.
It's also an odd week where you get a few extra practices. Don't get a lot of weeks like this week. I imagine that's kind of nice as a coaching staff.
Yeah, we need it. We went hard yesterday on Monday, and we'll go hard today. We'll probably take tomorrow off and then Thursday, Friday really lock in on Oregon State. But, no, we needed, a couple days here to try to get more sound. We're making too many mistakes. I've mentioned this before for February. Some of the mistakes we're making, as a coach, you kind of look in November, December, even maybe early January, but not in February. Communication mistakes, switches mistakes, not forcing guys into screens. We've just fundamentally haven't done some things that we should be doing at this point. And I've told our team that. I've expressed it, in post-game thing. We're making too many mistakes, and that's on me. I mean, that's my job to eliminate those mistakes, and the message I haven't been able to get across to the team. And so, we're just going to keep grinding and try to, we got a month left in the regular season, try to make some things happen.
Have you found that the communication aspect, Coach, that can kind of click when you have success in a game? Like, can that translate for a team moving forward?
Well, yes and no. A lot of teams learn from losses because
Sure.
They don't like losing.
Yep.
And they pay a lot more attention from a loss. The really good teams learn from winning. They even hold themselves to that standard. Well, we won, and everybody's patting us on the back, but we didn't play our best, and we still have to make improvement. So, there's a mentality there that a team takes. Learning from a loss. I think all teams do. Learn from a win. Those are the good teams. Those are the teams that have a higher standard and really push themselves.
Rivalry game coming up. Start of a 3-game road trip, Coach. Road games always tough, but important here down the stretch.
Well, we've got to go on the road and make some things happen, and we've done that in some previous teams, and this team is good enough to do it. But it is not going to be easy. The Bay trip's always been tough for us. Oregon State's been playing good at home. They had a tough weekend with Washington schools, but they've been playing well at home, and it's a home court sport, and that's what hurts when we lose at home.
Right.
And the crowd was great. Both games, the students were great, the crowd was great. We just didn't get her done.
Well, here's to getting her done in Corvallis. Coach, thanks for always taking the time here on Tip-Off Tuesday, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you bet.
We'll get a timeout when we come back onto the women's side. Kelly Graves joining us next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Time for our Coach Graves interview, always brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. The Ducks coming off a long road trip. That mountain trip is no joke, believe me. But getting ready for the LA schools, and if Oregon could get one or two of these, I'll tell you, Oregon's still top 90 in the net. Like, that's how good the Pac-12's competition has been. Coach Graves reviewing the weekend that was with Chris Clayton, talking about the upcoming homestand for women's basketball. Here's KG.
Coming off the trip to the mountain schools, it's a really tough road trip, Utah and Colorado. Didn't go exactly the way you wanted, but what stood out to you? What was the difference?
I thought in Colorado we just kind of died in that second half. I think we just really struggled to keep the energy up. We hit them on a hot night. They were shooting the heck out of it. We did some good things ourselves, but, just kind of hit a wall. We don't have a ton of depth. And, when you play at altitude, you try to minimize that. But it is real. It is real. And you could tell we just didn't have the energy that we needed. Turnovers, offensive board. We weren't real strong in any phase except for we shot the ball well from the three-point line. So tough game. That one hurt a little bit.
And then for the Utah game, it's tough playing back-to-back at elevation, to your point. But you battled back and got within 4. What do you think was the key to that comeback?
Well, we had a really good third quarter. I thought we finished the second quarter horribly. They made that run and got going. And then the third quarter we came out and played really, really well. Made some baskets, got the ball inside, hit a 3 or 2. We were just a little bit more aggressive. And then in the fourth quarter we died again. And, it's as a coach, you kind of, we dissect, we watch film, you look at everything, you analyze everything that happened during the game. And ultimately, we just don't have a ton of depth, and so a lot of our players have to play a lot of minutes. Chance Gray, Grace Van Slooten, Philly, and those are the ones we really rely on. And sometimes you get in that fourth quarter, and the other teams had, with a little bit better depth, they, are a little bit fresher. And, and late in games, especially, I felt that once we got down against Utah, we'd made the run, and then they started to separate again. I think we just, here we go again. We kind of had that attitude. You can kind of see it in their faces and in their body language, and we just have to get over that. I tried to talk to him after the game, or not tried to. I did talk to him after the game. We've played 12 league games, 12 Pac-12 games. 9 of those 12 have been against teams in the top 20.
Yeah.
Well, and what, 5 of those or so have been on the road?
Yes.
Something like
that.
Yep. That's incredibly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, and I just told him, we're not there yet. We can't get discouraged. The teams that aren't in the top 25 we're 2-1 against.
Right.
And, and now we've got 2 teams rolling in this week that are ranked in the top 10. I mean, so we've just got to take it all and, keep it in perspective. I think we're improving. The Utah assistant coach, Jeff Judkins, who was a longtime head coach at BYU, he and I have been friends for more than a quarter century. We are real with each other, and he said, Kelly, I've watched every single game because we were his scout. He goes, I've seen every game you've played. And he goes, you guys are improving. You do this and this. He goes, you're doing the best with what you have. And he's not the kind of guy that's going to sugarcoat it because they just beat us by 20.
Right.
He's going to be real. Mm-hmm. And, so I learned a lot from talking to him. And then JR, who's my good friend at Colorado, my former player and assistant coach, she gave me her scouting report. So I wanted my players to see what other since that's the last time we're going to play them, I said, this is what they think of you and how they want to play you and see as your strengths and your weaknesses. And it was an eye-opening, look at who we are. But I'm proud of the kids. They stay upbeat. And they're still positive, and they're still working hard, and they have good attitudes in practice. So that's all I can ask.
Yeah. And I see firsthand the attitudes they have, how much they still love playing together. And this is, to your point, one of the toughest schedules in the nation. I mean, and I know that the record's not where you want it to be at, but you're playing incredibly tough teams. You're in a lot of different conferences in America, and we're having a different conversation about the record.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's ever been a stretch like this. We're going to play 7 straight games against teams ranked in the top 20. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find that anywhere in the country ever.
Yeah.
There's usually that one kind of in between that, okay, you can maybe not win, but rest. They're not quite as good. But, 7 in a row. And then, we've got 6 games left, and I still believe that there's wins in our future. I really do. And we've just got to make sure that we keep the attitudes and perspective so that we can win those games when that opportunity comes.
And you got, like you said, 2 more top 10 teams. The new AP poll came out Monday in women's basketball, and USC and UCLA are top 10. Oregon State's up to number 11. But with the games Friday, Sunday against USC and UCLA, what's going to be keys to success?
Well, I think with both those teams, they feed off turnovers, so we've just got to make sure we take care of the ball. Last time we played at UCLA, Chance Gray didn't play. Mm-hmm. And, and that hurt us. We just were down one ball handler, and against the pressure they put on you, that can be difficult. Lauren Betts is back. She's been out for a few weeks. She's back and playing, like she always plays. And then Angela Dugalich will be back as well. She had left to play with Serbia in the Olympic qualifiers, and so they'll be at full strength. And when they're at full strength, I think them in Colorado, and now I'd put Oregon State in that. I think they're the most complete teams in the conference. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we're at home. Hopefully we have great energy in the crowd. Hopefully our Duck fans, still want to get behind the team.
Yeah.
We don't want fair weather fans, and they're not. We have true blues, and I'm really grateful for all their support, but we really do need them this week. And what do we have to lose?
Right.
I mean, let's just go for it.
Mm-hmm. I think Duck fans can see the improvement you're talking about, and other coaches are seeing in your team. When you play a player like Juju Watkins, who had 51 points against Stanford, led them to a really impressive win. She's averaging 27. Is it the mentality defensively, we have to stop her at all costs, or is it more of don't go too aggressive on her and make somebody else beat you? What's kind of the approach to stopping a player who takes so many shots?
Yeah, well, we did a good job on her the first time. I think she had 17 points.
Yep.
That's among the lowest game, the lowest scoring game she's had all season. Maybe the lowest in Pac-12. I'm not sure. I haven't really dissected that, but you just hope that they have to do it on high volume shooting. 51 against Stanford, but I think she only took 20-something shots.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredibly efficient. Mm-hmm. Now, she had 17 on us, but I think she took 18 shots. Mm-hmm. That you can live with. Mm-hmm. So we didn't do anything special on her. We just said if she's in your area, focus on her. Know that she's there. Maybe give her an extra, get an extra step closer. You just, she can create her own shot at any point. So you just hope that she has one of those games. I don't think you totally game plan just for her, though. I think they have other very, qualified players.
Yes.
So you just can't focus on her. Well, listen, we played well down there and had a chance to win that game,
Mm-hmm.
And in the end didn't. But, I think our kids will believe that we can do it Friday.
Yeah. And you look at the WNBA draft boards of the top players in the country, and it feels like you play all of them. I mean, just look at the top 10 projections. It's Pac-12, 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 yeah. And eventually Watkins will be in that group along with some of those UCLA players too.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, not to change the subject, I do want to give a shout-out to a couple of our former Ducks.
Yes.
And I mentioned Angela Dugalich at UCLA. Mm-hmm. We still have a great relationship. We talk. We have a really good relationship. She did not leave here under bad circumstances. Mm-hmm. And she plays for Serbia, and they qualified for the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Maite in Spain qualified for the Olympics.
Big
Sabrina's
time.
In our qualifying team, and USA is qualified for the Paris Olympics. And then how about Germany for the first time ever? Niara and Satu, and then one of my former players from Gonzaga, Sunny Greinacher, who has a Eugene tie. She went to Willamette High School as a foreign exchange student 1 year and won a state championship for Willamette. Played for me at Gonzaga. They make the Paris. They make the Paris Olympics. They beat Brazil yesterday. We watched the game during the Super Bowl.
Right.
And
there's 2 Super Bowls on.
Yeah, there are 2 Super Bowls, so we're so happy for them. I mean, how cool is that? We got like 4 or 5 Ducks in the Paris Olympics.
Global success.
Yes.
Amazing. And
Yes.
that's a great positive note to finish on. So thanks for your time.
Okay.
Congrats to all the current and former Ducks for all their success, and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Coach Graves talking with Chris Clayton, brought to you by Toyota. Women's basketball, 7 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena against USC on Friday, then 2 o'clock on Sunday against UCLA. Timeout when we come back. A platypus household. The Reichels. Talking with Gabe Reichle from Oregon men's basketball ahead of the matchup with the Beavs on Saturday here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Look, we totally get it. You'd rather not be listening to an ad right now. But if you have to, a mini ad is better. Maybe even a Pepsi mini ad. Still all the flavor of the full-size thing, just minier. The way ads should be. Like this one. Pepsi Minis. That's what I like.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. We're in the Country Financial Studio, and Gabe Reichle is joining us today. Gabe, thanks for making the trek. I appreciate the effort. He was in class this morning, came over to the Casanova Center, and then getting ready for practice this afternoon. Is that a normal day? Is that a normal day in the life of Gabe Reichle?
Yep, pretty typical.
Okay. All right, now, has anybody warned you about the tradition in the studio for the first time that you're in here? Good. Good. That's great. Okay, so we have a tradition, Gabe. You have to tell your 2-minute life story when you come on the show for the first time.
Okay.
It's your 2 minutes. The goal is to get as close to 2 minutes as possible. It's not Price is Right rules where if you go over, you lose. 2 minutes, that's the goal. Get as close as you possibly can.
Okay.
I found that basketball players are good at it because you have an internal shot clock. So just give me 4 shot clocks version of the life story of Gabe. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. On your mark, get set, go.
All right, so I was born and raised in Wilsonville, Oregon. Lived there my entire life. Grew up playing sports, basketball, football, and baseball, lacrosse as well for a little bit of time. I went to Wilsonville High School and played basketball and football there, and then just basketball my junior and senior year. Then when it was time to decide on college, that COVID year hit my senior year of high school, so I wanted to go somewhere relatively close to home, but also wanted to, go to the highest level possible and challenge myself and compete. So Oregon was a good fit for that, and that brought me here. Through some classes and pre-business work, it brought me into accounting, and I got my degree in accounting. And yeah, that's it. How close did I get?
The rest is history. Minute 7.
Oh, wow, that was fast.
But give it another 20 years of your life, then you can fill in 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's a lot easier as you get older. Trust me. It's a lot easier. Coach Altman's life story is like 2 hours, right? So Gabe Reichle joining us. Okay, so you didn't mention how competitive I'm sure your family was growing up. You came from a family of athletes, right?
Exactly. My mom actually played for Coach Graves at University of Portland.
Right.
My dad wasn't much of the athlete, but he was in the Navy out of high school. But
a different kind of athlete.
Yeah,
to say the least.
But my brothers, my older brother played at Oregon State, and my younger brother is there on the football team currently.
Mm-hmm. So was football your second best sport, like you individually?
Yes.
Okay, but basketball, you chose basketball, obviously.
Yes.
So what was it about basketball? How'd you fall in love with the game? Make that decision.
Honestly, a lot of it was following my older brother. I wanted to be like him. But at the same time, I don't know. I just had more passion, more drive for basketball. Spent a lot more time on it during the winter, going to the gym with my dad and brother and working out. So just all those little things kind of added up to the love for basketball.
So part of why we're talking this week, of course, is that the Reichle household is one of a true platypus. Fair assessment?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the lone duck of the brothers, right? So what's a Thanksgiving dinner look like in the Reichle household when you're able to get together? I know when you're all playing sports, that's tough right now. What's a dinner look like in the Reichle household?
Well, when we're all together, it's definitely competitive is a word you could use to describe it. Somewhat chaotic, but as we've gotten older, it's gotten better.
Really?
So at this point in time, I mean, my brothers, they're like my best friends. So the whole rivalry thing, yeah, we banter about it and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's really like I want my brothers to succeed. They want me to succeed. So at the end of the day, it's all love. But we do go back and forth and banter about it.
You know, I imagine, though, that you're a proud Oregonian. You know, you mentioned, like,
Absolutely.
you wanted to stay close to home. Does that kind of bring a lot of pride to the family? You have a lot of graduates, honestly, in the Reichle family from all the different schools around here.
Yeah. There's a lot of pride with that. And I can say, well, I'm the only one that's come to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So I take pride in that.
Good.
Being the only one.
Now, you're the accountant, so is anybody else an accountant in the family?
Nope. Mom's a teacher. My older brother did do business, but he's doing real estate now. So, actually, my mom's cousin is a professor here.
Okay.
She's an accounting professor.
So there's the inspiration
Yep,
right there.
there it is.
There's the accounting inspiration. So the numbers. So are you like a stat guy in basketball? Or are you an analytics guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where the accounting part came from. I was always better at math. I was never really good or enjoyed reading and writing, so I was like kind of the math guy.
All right, makes sense. Gabe Reichle joining us. So you touched a little bit on this. I was curious, like, I'm sure someone of your playing ability had the chance to go play elsewhere. COVID impacts it. You decide to come to Oregon as a walk-on. Take us through that decision. I mean, that had to be a difficult call for you to make.
Yeah, it was with my senior year ending, it was really chaotic time for everyone, but I didn't get to go visit anywhere. And I wanted to play at the highest level and challenge myself the most. And the opportunity here presented itself, so I took advantage of that right away.
Well, Coach Altman said, for those of you that were listening with us earlier, that he has a special place in his heart for walk-ons because he was one. You know, what's it been like playing for Coach Altman for these 4 years?
Oh, it's been awesome. I've learned so many things, not only on the court because Coach is such a smart guy, knows the game extremely well, like no other, and so I've learned so many things about the game of basketball, but also the lessons he teaches us off the court. Oftentimes he says, if there's one thing you're going to take away from this, take away that, you know, put it all in, put all your chips in one basket. You know, you have to be a good family man. You got to be good in your job. So the big lesson is that he wants us to take away. Doesn't even have to do anything with basketball. It's about life after basketball.
Makes sense. So now, how much pride do you take? And I don't know if you're aware of this statistic, okay? But I want everyone to know that the Oregon basketball program is 1-0 when Gabe Reichle is in the starting lineup. Did you know that?
Oh, I'm highly aware of that.
Yes, I love that. So during an injury-riddled period last season, it was during the tournament up in Portland, got your first career start, and you got to do it in Portland. So I wanted to ask you about that. I'm sure a lot of family were there for that. What was that like, Gabe?
Yep, parents, grandparents, a lot of people were there. But honestly, I didn't know before the game that I was starting.
Right.
I was getting ready for it like any other game. Which I prepare for every game like I'm going to play 40 minutes, but obviously expect that I might not play at all.
Right.
And then before the game, one of the assistant coaches came up to me and told me, did Coach tell you you're starting? And I was like, no. He's like, well, there it is. And so right before introductions, Coach is like, all right, you're going. I'm like, let's do it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So when you're going through a week of preparation, like you touched on, you're preparing like you're going to play all the time. So Coach and I were just discussing how you focus so much also on being a member of the scout team. Like, take fans into the process if you could. Like, so many playbooks, not only Oregon's, but probably every Pac-12 school's playbook by this point in your career,
yeah.
right?
Well, I've been running those plays for the past 4 years. But basically, we'll get together a day or two before the game and run through the plays. So you get assigned one of the players. You're that guy. And then we just run through all the sets that Coach wants to.
Right. Now, lastly, what's the feeling like when you hear the pit crew start chanting, "We want Gabe, we want Gabe" in a game? It's usually a good sign when that happens for the Ducks.
Usually a good sign because that means we're up, 20 or 30. So
I love that. Yeah, that has to be a good feeling, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I definitely hear it, and, it'll bring a smile to my face.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Gabe Reichle, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a Duck. And here's to a very successful accounting career and basketball career after all is said and done. Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to get a timeout. When we come back, Phillipina Kyei joining us from the women's program on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
Introducing Lem and Lime for Starry Lemon Lime Soda.
Hey.
Hello. What is Starry Lemon Lime Soda?
It's a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor, and it's caffeine-free.
One of you must be a little more important than the other.
We're both important.
So we could just as easily be Starry Lime Lemon Soda.
That doesn't sound right. I like it. So you saying hip-hop could be hop-hip? Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We're back on Tip Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Joey Mack here in the Country Financial Studio. Our final interview today is Phillipina Kyei. Actually, on the road trip, Chris Clayton sat down with the star center for Oregon women's basketball, Philly Kyei.
Or Philly Kyei. Philly, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Of course.
So you smile when I said star. What does that mean to you to hear that?
I mean, I'm a regular person playing basketball, you know.
Well, the reality is, though, whoever you talk to, you've definitely blossomed into a star center. How have you gotten to this point in your game?
I'll say hard work, you know, from my freshman year, learning the game to playing a little bit my sophomore year to now.
talking to Kelly Graves, he talks so much and raves about how far you've come as a player. And that's not to disparage where you were before, but he just raves so much about how you've improved. How have you gotten to this point, and what are the areas do you think that you've gotten a hang of to get to this point where you're dominating?
Mm-hmm. So first of all, I'll say it's more confidence now. My freshman year, not very good, obviously. Started my sophomore year, great. Been working out. Obviously, I got better with finishing around the rim and also, getting rebounds. And, I think now I'm known for, getting rebounds in the Pac-12 usually.
So let's talk a little bit about your background. We'll go back to your childhood later, but you kind of started basketball a little bit later than a lot of people. At what point did you realize that you are really good at basketball and you could have a future?
Oh, that's a tough question. So I started playing basketball probably ending of grade 8, grade 9, maybe. Totally sucked. Never touched a basketball before and never knew the rules. Nothing about basketball, so my coach just told me to stand in the paint and keep my hands up. I kind of did that for a year and started to learn about basketball a little bit. Found a club team, then went on to play provincials for my country, and then started playing for Canada basketball, and that's when I actually thought basketball could be my thing.
How did your recruiting process go in terms of how many schools were reaching out to you, and how did you choose Oregon?
Oh, yeah. So I think I first got my offer probably grade 10 from a mid-major D1 school, and I was freaking out. I was so excited. I wanted to sign with them right away, and my coach was whoa, calm down. This is just the first one, there's more to come. I started off getting more offers, grade 11, and then COVID hit my grade 12 year, so I had to go to Crestwood in Toronto. And that's when my coach reached out to Kelly and, showed him some videos and stuff like that. And, obviously, there was a lot of recruiting classes for me. There was a bunch of schools, but, they were all, how coaches lie to you. Oh, yeah, come here, you're going to play 30 minutes your freshman year, which is a lie. So Kelly kept it real. He was like, hey, listen, your freshman year might be, more learning. You're going to play behind Niara, Sedona, and after they're gone, it's your time to shine. So I was like, hey, I appreciate the coach for not lying to me, so.
That's amazing. Well, all Ducks fans are thankful that you stuck it out and didn't commit on that first offer. And going back to childhood, you're from Ghana, and you come to Canada at 13 or 14 years old. What was that like, transitioning from Ghana?
It was definitely a big change, environment-wise. Ghana is very hot, You can just go around, places, and then you get to the States, and, Canada. You get to Canada, and it's oh, my God, there's a bunch of snow. It's freezing. You can't just go anywhere by yourself for, the first probably year. You have to go with your parents or something like that. So, it was, a huge transition, but, I felt it wasn't too bad.
And what was Ghana like, your first 13 years growing up there?
Man, Ghana was fun, I lived in, a neighborhood where, all the kids after school, we have, this park where we all meet, just play around until, you get tired, go home, go eat some food. Ghana was fun. Ghana was really fun.
So I'm told, and we've learned, and you did a podcast this summer with Rob Mosley, which is available on GoDucks.com, which is an awesome in-depth look at your story, but you played soccer, so that was kind of your first sport. What were you like as a soccer player?
I started playing soccer for fun, playing with the guys, and then we played soccer at school. And then I started taking soccer serious when I first got here. I used to play soccer for my junior high school, and then never knew about basketball, never thought I would play basketball till, later that year.
Do you miss playing soccer ever?
Yeah. Every time. I go, during summer times, I go to, the field and, go kick balls around with my friends and stuff like that.
We're talking with Ducks star center Phillipina Kyei here on Tip-Off Tuesday. So this season has been, you had some bad luck with injuries, and the Pac-12 is incredibly difficult. What has this journey of a season been like for you?
It's been tough, We're still learning. We have a young team. We're still, giving it our all out there. I haven't given up on my team at all. I know we can... there are still a lot of games left we could win. So. And
you're facing some of the best centers in the country game after game. What has that been like having to play Lauren Betts on a Friday. You turn around and play Cameron Brink on a Sunday. I mean, what's that been like just going against future WNBA players every game?
I mean, it's definitely tough. Pac-12 is not easy, I'll tell you that. But, my focus for every game is to outplay the big I'm playing. So, if that is to outscore them or out-rebound them or, make their life tough, then that's what I'm going to do.
And it seems like something that's been maybe a little different for you this year is how you're double and triple teamed on a lot of touches. What has that been like trying to adjust?
My first time being doubled, I didn't know what to do. I panicked and stuff like that. But I've been working on it, stay calm, find open shooters, divers. So yeah.
What is this team like off the court? What's your guys' relationship like?
Oh man, we have a lot of fun. I mean, even though with all the losing and stuff going on, our team is still strong. We hang out together after practice. Even today after a bad loss, everyone is together, laughing, making jokes.
For you, looking forward to this season, I mean, you've racked up one of the most double-doubles in the country. You're one of the best rebounders in the nation. What do you still hope to improve on and accomplish the rest of this year?
I would say finishing more around the rims and adding maybe a mid-range to my game, because if I have that and I can drive and I can go to the rim, it's going to be hard for people to guard me.
How about off the court? What do you like to do, and how would you describe yourself as a person?
What do I like to do? So usually I'm more of a go out for a walk kind of person, or Netflix, stay home. Sometimes I like adventure stuff.
And for your career, you still have a lot of time, and the reality is on the horizon, you might be or probably will be a professional basketball player one day. What is that like, going from not picking up a basketball essentially till about 9th grade to now maybe playing the WNBA one day?
I mean, it feels amazing. Obviously, there's still a lot more work to do. I know I'm going to put in the work. I know my coaches and teammates are there to help me, so I'm very excited about it.
If you could narrow down, what are your personal goals for the rest of your time in Oregon and just with basketball long term?
Personal goals is to stay consistent. If it's with points or rebounds, I don't want to be the kind of kid to today drop 20 points, the next day drop 2. I just want to keep being consistent and grabbing more rebounds potentially. Yeah, my goal right now is to stay in first place in NCAA. Right now I think I'm 3rd or 4th or one of them. So
I love that. You are 2nd in the country in rebounding, and you still want more rebounds. That's the type of mentality you have. Well, thanks for your time, and looking forward to the matchup with USC and UCLA. What do you think will be key to success to beating the Trojans and the Bruins?
Keeping them down to one shot, staying aggressive, scoring on offense. It comes down to everything,
Duck Star Center, Phillipina Kyei. Thanks for your time.
Anytime.
I love that Chris led with, hey, Star Center. She's laughing when he says that. That's awesome. It's been great getting to know her. Chris was able to talk with her on the road trip, a longer road trip, so we couldn't get her in studio. But my thanks to Chris and Philly for sitting down while they were on the road. Thanks to Coach Altman, Coach Graves, Gabe Reichle. The women are at home starting on Friday. The men in Corvallis. It's a big one. See you this weekend.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting.